Kennedy's morning began in Fort Worth, Texas. The president and his wife spent the night at a local hotel, resting after a busy day of meetings and speeches. Kennedy's visit to Texas was part of a political tour through the southern states of the United States. This tour was crucial for his candidacy. With the presidential elections just a year away, Kennedy sought to gain support among voters in regions where his popularity was lagging. His personal charisma played a significant role in each speech, leaving a lasting impression on those who listened. Kennedy awoke with a scheduled public meeting ahead. He listened to a security and political briefing about the tense situation in Texas. Some local leaders opposed him strongly. Nevertheless, he continued with his preparations. The morning started with a light rain. There were concerns about his upcoming trip through Dallas, as an open limousine would be used. This did not dampen Kennedy's spirits. He was energized and ready for his speech. A small group of locals had already gathered in front of the hotel, excited to see the president and his wife. Despite the rain, the mood was festive. This was their first visit to Fort Worth, creating even more excitement among the crowd. The presidential motorcade was ready, but Kennedy stepped outside to greet the people without an umbrella, furthering his image of being close to the public. His wife stood beside him, wearing a pink Chanel suit that would later become infamous. Kennedy spoke briefly, expressing gratitude to the city for its warm reception and optimism about his campaign. His wife, usually reserved, was friendly and open with the crowd. After meeting the people, Kennedy returned inside for breakfast and continued preparing for the Dallas flight. He met with local leaders to finalize details of the visit. Everyone felt the importance of the day ahead. Later, Kennedy and his wife left for Fort Worth Airport. The motorcade delivered them to the plane, joined by Vice President Lyndon Johnson and his wife. The flight to Dallas was short, only 13 minutes. During the trip, Kennedy joked with his team and discussed his speech, though the political tensions weighed on him. Texas had deep divisions, and many leaders, especially conservative ones, opposed him due to his civil rights and foreign policies. As the plane approached Dallas, the weather cleared. The rain stopped, and skies brightened. Organizers decided to keep the limousine open, showing Kennedy's accessibility and boosting public connection. The plane landed safely at Love Field Airport, setting the stage for what would become a pivotal day. As soon as the president's plane came to a stop, a crowd of locals gathered eagerly around it. Many held signs and flowers to show their support. Kennedy and his wife stepped off the plane slowly, taking their time to greet people and express their gratitude. The president was in high spirits, while his wife, despite concerns for their safety, maintained a positive and radiant demeanor. Among the supporters were officials, including Texas Governor John Connally and his wife Nellie, who were set to accompany the president on this trip. Connally, a key political figure, added great weight to Kennedy's visit. The motorcade was ready to head to downtown Dallas. Kennedy and Jacqueline climbed into the Lincoln Continental, surrounded by a convoy of vehicles. At the front was a police escort, followed by their vehicle, with security personnel bringing up the rear. As the motorcade left the airport, Kennedy and Jacqueline sat side by side, with the governor and his wife in the front. Motorcycle police flanked the car, keeping the route secure and orderly. Thousands of people lined the streets to catch a glimpse of the president. The motorcade moved along Dallas's main streets, and the crowd swelled. Kennedy, always engaging, smiled, waved, and turned toward the people, while Jacqueline, seated next to him, also greeted the onlookers warmly. The route through the city was carefully arranged with decorated streets and vigilant security patrols. The atmosphere was electric and joyful. As the motorcade passed through Dallas's central streets, crowds pressed closer. Kennedy made it a point to move slowly, allowing moments of connection. Security kept a close eye, but let the crowd approach slightly. Everything seemed to be going smoothly. The people were cheerful, and Kennedy responded with genuine warmth. But there was an underlying tension. The day before, anti-Kennedy flyers circulated in Dallas, and critical newspaper articles were printed that morning. Still, as the motorcade advanced, nothing suggested the tragic events about to unfold. The presidential car turned onto Houston Street, heading toward Dealey Plaza. The crowd's cheers continued, and Kennedy, enjoying the sights, was in good spirits. Jacqueline also seemed at ease. As they approached the Texas School Book Depository, a shot suddenly rang out. The crowd was momentarily stunned, some believing it to be a loud noise or vehicle issue. But when Kennedy clutched his throat, reality set in. It was gunfire. A second shot followed, wounding Governor Connally. Then the third shot struck Kennedy in the head, killing him instantly. Jacqueline, horrified, tried to support her husband but was overcome with shock and fear. The limousine's driver, William Greer, accelerated toward a nearby hospital as Secret Service agent Clint Hill leapt onto the back to protect the president and First Lady. Chaos erupted. The crowd dropped in confusion and fear, and police quickly mobilized to locate the shooter. Meanwhile, medical personnel worked frantically as the motorcade raced to the hospital. Upon arriving at the hospital, Kennedy was rushed straight to the operating room. Doctors worked quickly, performing intensive resuscitation efforts in a desperate attempt to save his life. Despite their best efforts, the president's condition remained critical, with severe injuries to his head and neck. Unfortunately, the efforts proved unsuccessful, and the doctors were forced to pronounce him dead. A decision was made to announce the news officially. A group of doctors and officials gathered at the hospital to face a crowd of journalists and other officials. Dr. Malcolm Perry, one of the doctors who had attempted to save the president, stepped forward. With heavy hearts, he addressed the public and declared that the president was dead. For about an hour, police officers searched the surrounding area. Their attention turned to the Texas School Book Depository. After receiving a tip, the police conducted a thorough search. On the 6th floor, they discovered a rifle, a Carcano rifle, made in Italy, left by a window. It was from that spot that the shots had been fired. Shell casings were found nearby. Later, the rifle was traced back to Lee Harvey Oswald. Based on evidence and witness testimonies, investigators began their hunt for the suspect. Soon after, Oswald was spotted in a Dallas suburb. He tried to evade capture by running into the Texas Theater. Officers arrived and attempted to arrest him, but Oswald resisted and fought back. During the struggle, he shot and fatally wounded a police officer. Oswald was quickly apprehended and taken into custody. During interrogations, Oswald was charged with the murder of both the president and the police officer. On November 24th, as police officers were escorting Oswald for transfer to jail, a man emerged from the crowd. Jack Ruby, a nightclub owner, shot Oswald in the abdomen. He was rushed to the same hospital where Kennedy had died just 2 days earlier. At T1:07 p.m., Oswald was pronounced dead. And so ended the tragic story of the assassination of the 35th President of the United States. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon.